There's a moment in your end of life that's not often talked about. It's one of the most sacred moments a family or a person will ever experience during the dying process of a loved one. Dying is not just a physical event, it's an emotional and spiritual event as well. Sometimes when patients are clearly nearing end of life but seem to be holding on for like days, and there's no explainable reason, they're just not making that final transition. Giving permission can be useful and may be the reassurance a loved one or a patient needs to make that final transition. Hi, I'm Nancy Lee. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I've spent the last 25 years of my life and my career working with patients who have serious and life-limiting illness who are at or near end of life. Patients who seem to be physically really close to death, but they appear to be like lingering, hanging on for days. As a nurse, facilitating and trying to help families during this time, I have to tell them, you may need to give your loved one permission. Today, I want to talk about what I mean by that, and then I'm going to share 2 stories of giving permission. When you say to a loved one of a dying patient, you need to tell them it's okay to die, it can be jarring, and it can be met with a reaction like, oh, I can't do that. If you've ever been with a loved one who lingers for days near end of life or near death, it can be excruciating to watch. I believe that may be one of the reasons people linger like that, because once you watch somebody do that for days, you can become ready to give them permission. As healthcare providers with families of the dying, we know that sometimes the patient needs to hear from their loved one that it's okay to leave, it's okay to pass on. And I believe from working with thousands of patients that these messages can be phrased in a way that's loving. Can sound something like, it's okay, you can go. We will take care of each other. We love you. The dying person needs to know that the surviving family will be okay. Many times this is a spouse or adult children. So I'll counsel these families to say things like this when they're ready, because I have been met with some dramatic reactions to that phrase. But the phrasing needs to be something like, we are going to be okay. You can rest now. You can let go. And I want you to remember that giving permission is not hastening death. It's not causing death. Giving permission is one of the biggest acts of love and courage a family member can do. And now I'm going to share with you 2 stories of what giving permission looks like. The first one is really close to my heart because it was my mother. I was at her bedside for 5 days while she was actively dying. And for the last 12 hours of her death, of her living, she was struggling. She was only breathing 2 times a minute. That is not compatible with life. I was there by myself, and I was terrified. I was very close to my mother. I was so sad that I was losing her. This was 33 years ago. I was a very young nurse. She died fairly young, and I was terrified. My older brother showed up, and when he did, about that time, my husband at the time showed up as well, and it was time to go get my 2-year-old from daycare. I took this opportunity to lean down into her ear, and I said, "You're not alone," because she was terrified of dying. So I said, "You're not alone. George, my brother, is here, and I need you to go. I've got to go get my son, and when I get back, and I'll be right back, but I need you to go while I'm gone. And I left. Again, she was only breathing 2 times a minute, and I could not understand how she was still lingering. I left, and about 15 minutes later, she died peacefully and without any angst, and was very peaceful death. Another story I'd like to share is a patient that I worked with very closely for over 2 years on home hospice. It was when I was a home hospice nurse, and I visited this patient twice a week, every week. She was a little on the persistent side or the stubborn side. And she and I had developed a very trusting relationship. Often, I was the only person she would listen to. Well, I came to work one Monday morning, and apparently over the weekend, she had decompensated, become very symptomatic, and was transferred to our inpatient hospice unit. When I worked for this particular hospice, we were lucky to have an inpatient hospice unit for patients who were with high symptom burdens. And what I mean by that is they were having a lot of symptoms related to end of life and needed subcutaneous or intravenous medications to help alleviate these symptoms. And they also needed the help of a skilled nurse. So I came to work Monday morning, heard that she had been transferred, and I was shocked because she had not displayed any evidence of decline in the week leading up to this. So I went to see her in the unit. As I walked in the door, she was laboring so hard. She was clearly struggling to make her transition. I leaned down in her ear and I said to this, we're going to call her Miss Smith. I said to Miss Smith, it's Nancy. I'm going to get choked up. I want to thank you for letting me be your nurse. It's been a privilege to care for you, but your time is here. You've fought a good fight, and it's okay. You can let go. And I left. She died 15 minutes later. Giving permission can be something that a dying patient needs to hear. It's for what that's just one of the fascinating aspects of dying. Thank you for listening. I will see you in the next one.